thing that will catapult your business and what we think it is as opposed to what can you hear us now?
I can hear you now, loud and clear.
Excellent. We're back. Woohoo! We're back. So what is the one thing? Now, I remember personally I've been in business since I was 20. I think my first business, I know my first business was a little coffee shop in the city, a little brassiere in the city in Collins, just off Collins, Little Collins Street, Causeway Lane in Melbourne, if anyone knows that area. And I was 20 when I had my first business. And this was not something that I didn't have the money to do it back then. There was a reason that was offered to me. So I was working in a jewelry store in Causeway House on the 6th floor with this lovely Jewish man who was an older guy. And he brought me downstairs and said, into Causeway Lane, he goes, "What would you do with this shop if it was yours?" And I'm looking at that shop thinking, well, my parents have been in the restaurant industry and food industry for, many years. And I said, well, if that was me, I'd turn it into a little amazing coffee shop. And oh my God. And I sort of started rambling on about what I would do. And we were sort of very close to David Jones and Maya. So lots of the people would come down Causeway Lane to have coffee and do all that. So I thought, I'd just turn it into a really fun atmosphere, a place where they'd come in, there'd be word of the week, they'd be able to make their own coffees if they wanted to, jump behind the counter. And he's listening to me ramble on about what I would do. And he literally handed me the keys and he said, "It's yours." And I said, "What?" He goes, "It's yours." He goes, "Let's do it." I had no idea. Like, I had to put in a little investment, but it wasn't a lot. Obviously, just as we started going, but this was literally handed to me, this business. And I'm like, wow, middle of the city. Like, this is a true story. And anyway, so I just thought, this is crazy. So I started the business. It went really well. And then I think a year later, I felt pregnant and I had complications with the pregnancy. So I had to literally leave and shut it down. My point here is that there was no strategy. There was nothing there. And what we think business is about, what we think that will create our success, is strategy. And everybody I know, everyone we know is looking for a strategy for the next shiny disco ball, the next, I don't know, whatever it might be, whatever it is, to take their business to another level. The truth is, it is not strategy. The truth is, it is energetics. It is your set point. It is the manifestation. And I didn't believe that it was that. But when I look back, and we say this all the time, Steve Jobs says you can never, you can only ever connect the dots looking back. You can never connect them looking forward. And if I now reflect in my 50 plus years looking back as to how everything worked out and how it all happened, there was never a strategy. I could never have worked out step by step how I'm here right now. Never. I could never have planned it, right?
No.
We can plan something in our head, but we never know how it's going to happen. And the biggest question we get asked is how. So manifestation is what it is. We all have this set point that we set out. So what we've got to listen to is, what is it that you really, really want? What is it that you truly desire? And this energetic frequency that we all have, every single one of us possess that. This morning we listened to a beautiful video on Bob on abundance and prosperity, Bob Proctor's video. And it is the energy that we possess within us that becomes our attraction point. So that business was not given to me because I was strategic, because I wasn't. It was given to me because I matched the energy of somebody that Jewish man wanted to tap into. It was the energy of what I could give and provide and leave people with this impression of increase. So he knew if I was in that shop that I'd create a successful business. And I just want you to think about that. So think about where you are right now and how is it a strategy or is it an energetic frequency that has moved you to this point right now in time? Maybe I'm not saying there's no strategy. It is 5% strategy. And Bob Proctor would teach this 5% strategy, 95% energetics. Energetics comprises of manifestation, it comprises of frequency and energetics. And that's what we are. Because when we're vibrating on that frequency, we become the strongest magnets possible. And that's how Ellie and I came together.
Literally.
Yeah.
So guys, we're literally always looking externally for something to bring us closer to what we want. So we might be looking for, how to do Instagram reels, or it could be how to create a personal brand, or all these things. And they're absolutely important. Don't get us wrong. It's not that we're saying those skills aren't important, and they absolutely are in business. And you need to be abreast of so many things when you're in business and starting a business. But the energetics of how you're feeling inside and what's actually happening underneath your skin is the reason why most people are not creating the result they want. It's just as simple as that. It's what's happening underneath the skin. It's what you think of yourself. It's the vibration and the energy and what you're doing every single day to stay in that place. Most people don't even know what energetic level they're on. They don't even know, because the paradigms and their operating system, they're at a particular operating system that keeps us stuck. So Danny describes it like a thermostat. You're stuck on like 22 degrees and you're not sure how to physically change the temperature on that. I can absolutely guarantee you, when you master how to change the temperature, oh my goodness, Danny, don't things start lighting up and those fireworks start happening?
100%. Yeah.
They just start happening.
Yeah. I think, like, if you want to elaborate on what happened to you when you shifted that energetic.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was working like a maniac, and literally in my network marketing business felt like I had to be working 24/7, literally, to create a result. Like I wouldn't even go for a walk, because I felt like I had to work so hard and figure out what that next golden nugget was to create something. And what I was doing, I was in this, like, I was morphed into this crazy person that literally was in fear, in guilt, in shame that I wasn't creating the result, but I had no idea how to actually get through that. And when I learned how to break through that set point and work on me, so I was always looking in my network marketing business, I was working really hard. So it wasn't the work ethic, but I looked at all these successful entrepreneurs that were creating the money and the success, and I looked at them and I thought it was something externally that they were doing to create the result. So they might have been showing up more on social media, or they had a better personal brand, or they were doing this or doing that. But what I didn't realize is that their internal set point was what was creating the result. So they weren't in fear, they weren't in guilt, they weren't in shame, they were in courage, in neutrality, all those amazing energetic frequencies that are lifting the vibration. If you guys maybe you've never heard this type of talk before, maybe you're new to this work, but everything's vibrating on a megahertz. Like this is vibrating. We can't see it, but it's vibrating. So everything is on a frequency. So the invisible lines that you cannot see, like Wi-Fi, we don't really know how it works, but we know it works. It's the same. So when you're at a frequency that is not serving you, and you're continuously getting the same result over and over and over again, there is a way to create what you do want at a frequency that is higher than you're currently vibrating. So when I was able to switch that, oh my goodness me, the people, the places, the plots, and all those things started to arrive. And Danny was one of those people. So if you would have told me that she was going to show up and that we would start She Evolve Collective, I had sort of a vision of what that looked like singly, I could see all these women, I could see a global business, but I didn't know exactly how that was going to work. So you'll have a vision in your mind, but as Danny said, you can't actually exactly work that out to the T, because when you're on a different frequency, the people, the places, and the plots start appearing, and you can never work that out, even if you, you know, are so good at manifesting that everything just comes to you. It's never the same way. It's never the way, is it, Danny, that you actually expect it to come through?
Yeah, it never works out. So even when we write our goal, what we expect to show up, we expect a different result. But what it is, it's the progress that you make. It is the change and you can't predict how it's going to work for you. This is the
That's
thing.
what
We're
I was
not.
looking for.
Yeah,
Predict.
you can't predict it. You can't say, "Oh, this is exactly the way it's going to show up for me." It may show up in a completely different way, but what will show up is what you're thinking and what you're focusing on more of, like the most. So if you're focusing on that success and you want to create change, if that's something that you're focused on and you have a goal that you're focusing on, maybe it's more money. Like I remember focusing on wanting more money. That was really the only thing I focused on. It was because I didn't have it. And because I didn't have it, I was so focused on wanting to make more. And when I say focused, I wasn't obsessed with it. I just knew that that's what I wanted. So I wrote that down. I wrote that on my goal card. So my little goal card. I wrote that down on my goal card. And everything I've ever written on these goal cards has come into fruition. It's come into this 3D physical world because I've been able to manifest that into this reality. Now, what is manifestation? Like, what is that? It's you being able to create anything that you desire, whatever you want. And Bob would say, whatever you can see in your mind, you can have in your hand. But the problem is, and this is the key, is that most of us cannot hold on to the one thing that we truly, truly want because we don't believe that it's possible for us. And I'll give you a perfect example. My first goal card was $10,000 a month. I wrote, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm earning over $10,000 a month in my bank account, 063 777 Put some money in there if you like. Still around. That was going into my bank account and that I was physically bringing in $10,000 a month. Now, at the point when I first wrote that, I did not think that was even a possibility for me. That's now over 10 years ago, even longer. I didn't think that was possible for me. So because I didn't believe it, I started to extend that, like extend the time frame around it. So when I
Exactly.
started to understand that this was possible for me through Bob Proctor's work and through all the work that I'd been doing, when I literally flicked the switch. And the minute I flicked the switch and said to myself, well, hang on a minute, I can earn $10,000 a month. This is possible for me, right? And at that point, I think it was like a month later, I had my first $10,000 land into my bank account through my business. So that for me was huge because I'd created something that I never thought was possible. And I still have those gold cards for my $10,000 a month. And something I read yesterday, so it doesn't matter what you are. Let me just see if I can find this quickly here. It's really, really important. Let me just see if I can find it. Sometimes I've got to remember where I put things, right? But it matters not what you want to bring in. So say, for example, it's 10,000 or 50,000 or 100,000. It's exactly the same thing. And I remember thinking, well, how is 100,000 and 10,000 exactly the same thing?
Exactly.
It is the level of belief and the vibrational frequency that you are aligned with that will bring that in. So, we have so many of our members saying, well, I feel like if I write $100,000 that it's way too far away from, or it's not possible. And the one thing that Bob would say is that, well, if you think it's not possible, it's not.
It's
But
not.
there's no difference between 10,000
No.
and 100,000.
Money's not even a
It's a
real.
number.
It's
Yeah.
a number.
Oh,
Money's just a piece of,
it's an
I'm gonna
energetic
call it paper.
frequency.
Yeah, that's right. It's
Just a
whatever you.
frequency.
That's right. So whether it's got 1 0 or 10 zeros, it actually makes it's irrelevant. If you can hold
Yeah.
that thought in your mind, it can absolutely happen. And most people haven't developed the will and the ability to
Yeah.
continuously hold that thought, because all these little things keep popping up, which we call paradigms, that keep knocking you out all the time. So they're the little things in your head, or it might be the external influences or whatever it might be, to tell you that you're, maybe not feeling like you're worthy enough, or you can't have that money, or how could you do that, or whatever it might be. So as Danny said, when you actually form that belief and that faith and all those things that create the actual physical manifestation into the 3D world, because we can think it, but we have to actually then hold that vision and keep that really front of mind continuously, because what you think about most is what will happen. Can
Yeah.
you find it,
Yeah.
Danny?
No,
No.
I know it's here. When I find it, I will share it with you guys. I will share it. But I mean, it's simple. It actually doesn't matter whether it's 1,000, 100,000, or 1,000,000. It actually matters not. It matters how much you are in alignment with that number. And what does that mean? The alignment is how it feels to you. Does it feel like it's natural to you? Does it feel like it that you are for that, right? Because if you feel like it's not for you, then it becomes not for you. If 1,000,000 feels like way too out of scope for you and that you can't connect to that number, then it's not for you. So how
That's
do you
right.
do that? That's when you stand into the version, stand into the vision, stand into the feeling of someone that is earning that $1,000,000 a month or $1,000,000 a year, whatever it is for you, it doesn't matter. And how do you do that? People say, well, how do I act and be that if I don't have that? It's again feeling in. Feeling is the secret. If anyone does Neville Goddard's work, it's feeling is the secret. Feeling is what will connect you and allow you to be in harmony. That's the word I'm looking for. In harmony with that number, right? Because the number is just the energy. So are you in harmony with $10 right now? Ask yourself, of course, because you can pull it out of your pocket. So $10 means that well, we don't even use cash anymore, really, do we? Most of
Not
us
really. But
using
most
cash,
of us would be
using,
comfortable
but
holding a $10 note, or
yeah,
transferring $10, or paying
yeah.
$10.
Yeah. So how do you feel? I'm going to give you an example of this, right? Being in harmony with, say, even $2,000, $3,000. Has anyone ever had that much money in their pocket at once, or their wallet? I've had money more than that in my pocket, my wallet.
Yeah.
And the feeling of having that in my wallet, it's like, oh my God, like I was checking it every 5 minutes, making
Yeah.
sure that,
What if I
this is
lose it? Or
yeah. So am I in harmony with that? No, I was not in harmony with it because it felt like it was so much money, and holding it, maybe I'll leave my bag or I'll, whatever, and that's the thing. You're not in harmony with it. So if you're not in harmony with that amount, how can you attract it in? This is what we want you to really like tap into today. You've got to be in harmony with those amounts of money if you want to bring that in, or the success if you want to bring that in. It's not just money. Money's a byproduct of the success, right? But are you in harmony with being really successful? Most people are afraid of success. They don't want success because it will mean there's sacrifice with success. A lot of people
Mhm.
see it from that perspective. What does that mean? Well, it means that maybe your friends will start saying, "Oh, who do you think you are?" Maybe your family will look at you differently. Maybe people might start asking you for money, and that might make you feel uncomfortable because you don't want to give it. And there's so many factors that really start to, tip the scale of success. And people will cut it, like literally lock
Yeah,
themselves in,
they
and,
will.
and at that set point, because their paradigm wants to keep them at that point because it will cause discomfort. Whenever there is a shift or a move or a change, there will be discomfort. And right now, if you're not in harmony with $100,000 a month, guess what? It's not showing up for you.
It
So
doesn't matter how many external strategies that you
yeah,
decide to
yeah,
attempt. So
it
you
does
may
not matter.
learn a new application, or do a social media course, or whatever it might be. It's not going to make one iota of difference if you're not in harmony, like Danny's saying.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
what people are doing, like Ali was saying, we're looking for external,
we are.
external answers. Like, oh, if I do this course, or if I have another modality, or I might go do another, if I get this under my belt and this under my belt, then I'll be ready to be able to say
Exactly.
it because I'm more confident in myself. I have, I'm feeling like, okay, now I'm a doctor, like a doctor of this and a doctor of that. You're not, right? Nothing's going to change. It doesn't matter. Get good at the one thing. And we talked about that yesterday with the law of compensation and how that works and how you start to create once you're clear, once you know the formula, and the formula is through that law. So there is so much here that we can share with you, but what we want to really let you know today and give you today is that when you are in harmony with whatever you want, it is the energetics that you've got to be in harmony with, not the external strategy. The external strategy will only ever help you when you're in harmony with what you want to create. So just
Exactly.
take that in, right? So if I explain that, if I am now, Ellie and I are now, say for example, doing Facebook ads, and if we're doing the Facebook ads, that's the way, that's the external strategy, right? But if we're not in harmony with who we are, and we're not in harmony with the client that we want to work with, say, for example, we're not clear on that, we're not standing into that version of ourselves, in that elevated version, in that $1 million version of ourselves, then these Facebook ads might as well just,
Yeah.
they won't work.
No, they won't, because it's not in alignment.
It's not
So
alignment.
you hear us saying aligned action. So
Yeah.
anyone can take action, but if it's not in alignment to the vibration that you are on, it's just not going to work to the way
Yeah.
that you want it to work.
Yeah.
Did you find it?
No, I didn't, but
No.
Tats put something in the chat, which is amazing. So, as every thought leader has said, and this is part of Bob's work, setting and reaching the goal, it's not about the goal achieved, but the person that you grow to become in the process. And that's exactly what it is.
So
And
true.
that's the elevation. That is the elevation of your vibration. That is the vibrational frequency moving up the rungs in that ladder, because you become a more evolved version of yourself. And that's why your attraction point starts to change very differently. So you're sitting on that 101.9 happy FM, and you're attracting on that frequency, not on the shitty Boomba FM where nothing's going right for you. And if nothing is going right for you, that's because you're not in harmony. You're not in harmony with what you desire. You're in doubt, you're in fear, and you just are in the, I don't know how this is going to
Exactly.
work. So if this resonates, let us know, put a little resonate in there, and we would love to, we invite you in to have a conversation. We want to know where you're at and what we can do to actually help you shift that vibrational frequency, help you move into another way of being, into another state. So if
Exactly.
we'd
Our
love
team
to.
will drop the link, guys. So
Yeah, absolutely.
if you're wanting to see where you're at and increase your vibration, just put transformation in the chat.
Yeah.
And the girls will pop a link there that you can book a transformation call and
absolutely.
increase your vibration to create amazing things in your business for 2026.
Exciting. Can't wait. Thank you, everybody. And those of you that are on Fabulous Feb, we will see you shortly as well. Thank you. Love it.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, everyone.